All right, if you're gearing up for the AFK exam, you know that CAD/CAM is a huge topic. So in this explainer, we're going to cut right to the chase and break down exactly what you need to know to crush this section of your boards.
Let's kick things off with a classic exam question. You've got a brand new CAD/CAM crown, you go to seat it, and it's rocking on the abutment. So what's the deal? What's the probable cause? Stick with me, because by the end of this, you'll be able to spot the answer to this one in your sleep, and you'll know exactly why.
Okay, so here's our game plan. We'll walk through the whole digital workflow, then really zero in on digital impressions. After that, we'll decode those tricky milling errors, touch on materials, and then wrap it all up with a quick-fire recap just for the AFK.
Okay, let's jump right in with the digital workflow. We're talking about the whole shebang, from the moment you pick up the handpiece to when you place that final restoration.
So you can really think of the whole in-office digital process as a chain of 5 crucial links. You start with the prep, you scan it, design it, mill it, and then place it. Simple, right? But here's the thing. Each step is totally dependent on the one before it. A tiny mistake at the beginning can cause a huge problem at the end.
Now, this is absolutely key. A great CAD-CAM crown doesn't start in the software, it starts with your prep. And the rules are super specific. Yeah, you've got your reduction values here, but the two things I really want you to burn into your brain are the uniform 1mm chamfer and those rounded internal line angles. I mean, they are completely non-negotiable, and we're about to see exactly why. Okay, so you've nailed the prep. It's perfect. Now you've got to capture all that beautiful detail. And this is where we switch gears from traditional impression material to light, which, as you'll see, comes with its own unique challenges. And here we have the classic pros and cons. I mean, the advantages are pretty awesome, right? Patients love it, it's way faster, no goopy impression material, but, and this is a big but for the AFK exam, you have to remember what a scanner really is. It's a camera. It uses light. And light can't push the gums out of the way, and it definitely can't see through blood. That's why deep subgingival margins are basically kryptonite for an intraoral scanner.
So here's a puzzle for you. You've done a flawless prep, you got a perfect digital scan, so how can you still end up with a crown that doesn't fit? Well, the culprit is almost always the milling machine itself. It's a physical process with physical limitations. And trust me, this is a topic the AFK loves to ask about.
Okay, remember how I said those rounded internal line angles were a huge deal? Well, here's the payoff. This is exactly why. If you ignore that rule and leave those angles sharp, you force the milling machine's software to make a choice. And that choice leads to one of two major and completely opposite types of misfit. So here's the problem in a nutshell. Think about the milling burr. It's a tiny spinning drill bit, right? It has a physical size, a real diameter. Now, try to get that round burr into a super sharp 90-degree internal corner. It just can't be done. It's physically impossible. The burr is just too big to replicate that tiny geometry. So the software has to figure out what to do about this mismatch.
The first thing the software can do is basically just give up. It says, hey, my burr can't fit into that sharp little corner, so I'm just going to skip it. That's called undermilling. The burr kind of just jumps over that sharp angle, and what you get is a little extra bit of ceramic left behind on the inside of the crown. And that little leftover bump, it becomes a pivot point. It's like having a tiny pebble inside the crown. It prevents the crown from seating all the way, so it just rocks back and forth. This brings us to our first, super important mnemonic. Just remember run. Rocking means undermilling. Simple as that.
Okay, so what's the other option? Well, instead of just skipping the sharp corner, the software can get a little aggressive. It decides, okay, to make absolutely sure this crown seats, I'm going to carve out extra material all around that sharp angle. This is called overmilling. It's the software trying to solve the problem by overcompensating.
So now, because it's removed all that extra material, you've got this big, oversized gap on the inside. Sure, the crown will seat no problem, but it'll be loose, super loose. And that means you're relying on a giant, thick layer of cement, which is incredibly weak. And this gives us our second mnemonic, LOVO. Loose means overmilling. Got it? Run and LOVO.
Okay, we've been talking a lot about crowns, but what are we actually milling them out of? This is so important. The ADA has a new classification for ceramics, and I guarantee you this is high-yield stuff for the AFK. You absolutely need to know this.
All right, just look at this table. Think of it as a spectrum from beauty to brawn. Up top, in Class 1, you've got your feldspathic porcelain. It's gorgeous, super aesthetic, but not very strong. Perfect for veneers. Then as you go down the list, all the way to Class 5, you get to tetragonal zirconia. You lose a little bit of that beautiful translucency, but you gain incredible brute strength. This is what you're using for those big multi-unit bridges or for your heavy grinders. Knowing which material to use for which situation, that's a classic exam question right there.
All right, let's lock all this in. Time for a quick fire recap. I'm going to throw some classic AFK-style questions at you. Let's see how you do. Okay, question 1. Back to where we started. Your CAD/CAM crown is rocking on the abutment. What is the problem? You know the mnemonic.
Yep, that's undermilling. That rocking is a dead giveaway that there's a little bump of material on the inside that's preventing it from seating. Remember, run. Rocking is undermilling. Okay, next one. Now the crown seats just fine, but it's loose. What's going on? You got it. That's overmilling. The loose fit tells you the machine carved out way too much material on the inside. LOVE. Loose is overmilling. Easy.
All right, final question for the recap. Let's talk prep design. For a posterior ceramic CAD-CAM crown, what's the best finish line? The answer is a chamfer. Specifically, a nice, uniform 1mm chamfer. And it's perfect for 2 reasons. 1, it gives you enough thickness of ceramic for strength, and 2, it gives the scanner a really clear, easy-to-read line to follow. It ticks both boxes.
So let's wrap this up with the single most important idea. Think about it. Both undermilling and overmilling, 2 totally opposite problems, both stem from the exact same mistake, a sharp internal line angle in your prep. If you can truly understand how that one little geometric flaw can lead to either a rocking crown or a loose one, then you haven't just memorized facts for the exam, you've truly mastered the core concept of digital dentistry.